Do you want to know a simple, easy, homemade, do-it-yourself fertilizer? In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a very easy fertilizer with just scraps from your kitchen. Hi, this is Jeremy Stark here from Green Thumb Gardener, here to give you some tips, tutorials, and reviews for all your gardening needs. In today's video, we're going to show you a very simple way on how to make an easy do-it-yourself homemade fertilizer. Yes, you can take some of your scraps that you have from your vegetables and fruits, maybe some eggs, and turn it into fertilizer that you can actually store and use in your garden throughout the year. We'll show you a very simple way on how to do this. I mean, there's different ways that you can do it. 3 little things that you have in your kitchen that you might be already throwing out or throwing in the compost. And we'll show you how to dry these up and also make them into fertilizers that you can use throughout the year. This is basically made with just a few ingredients that you find around your home, such as food scraps that you have. So one of the first things that we like to basically save is we'll save our banana peels. And what we'll do is we'll actually put the banana peels, just in a regular bag that you have. And then what I like to do is, because you're not going to do it right away and you don't want them to smell, is I actually put them in the freezer. And then I just leave them in there until I get enough, until I have a bag that's full of banana peels, and they won't, stink up your house or anything like that. The other materials that we're going to do to create this fertilizer is we're actually going to use eggshells. And as you can see, I also have these in a bag as well. What I do when I go through the egg is is that what you want to do is you want to actually rinse these out after you crack your eggs, and then just store them right in the bag, and then put these in your freezer as well. The other material that we're going to use, that you probably also have as well, is coffee grounds. So now for the coffee grounds, what I suggest to do is you can go down to Starbucks and just tell them that you want a bag of coffee grounds to use in your garden. They'll actually give you a huge bag. You might want to call them first. If you go there, usually in the early afternoons when I've gone, you can get a really big supply of it. You can also do the same. We just have so much coffee grounds that I never really have to save those. I can get that pretty easily because you don't need a lot of it. You can make a couple of pots of coffee and have plenty of grounds, to make this. But the eggs and the banana, you might not need a lot, right away. So those ones you might have to save in advance for, to make this particular recipe. So basically what you're going to do is you want to put this, if you want to have this to store, you want to make sure that you dry these out really well, because you don't want to have any water content while you're in this, because it'll it can spoil it and things like that. So you do want to preserve it. So one of the things that I do is I just basically put everything in my oven, believe it or not. I put it on very low. The lowest setting I have in my oven is 170 degrees. I know some may say 150 degrees, most you want to do it, but 170 degrees is what I have. So I just went with that, and I just kept looking at it. So that's basically what we're going to do. So we're going to place all of these items on here. We're going to put it in the oven, and I'm going to show you what it looks like at that point. Okay, so we went ahead and we got basically we took all of our ingredients, we put it in the oven for the different ingredients that we have. So these are already used coffee grounds. You don't want to use the coffee grounds before they've been spent. You actually want to use the coffee, and then the grains you just want to put in the oven. I had this in the oven at 170, and I think it was in there for maybe about 2 hours. Maybe a little bit less, a little bit more. But you just basically want to dry it out so that it doesn't have any moisture in it. So that's for one of the ingredients. And the other ingredient is eggshells. And like I said, we had these in the freezer. Basically, I had a big bag of them, and I just put them in the oven, the same thing. These did take a little bit longer. I did have them on here for probably about 170 for maybe about 3 or 4 hours. So you just want to check it. You just want to make sure these are dry and pretty brittle, and they're not going to smell when you put them in at 170. They're just really just going to dry out, and all the moisture is going to come out of it. And then the other ingredient is banana peels. Now these do take a little bit longer, so you know, you just want to just keep it in, you know, 170. You don't want these to cook, obviously, but at 170 they'll definitely dry out and they become very brittle. It's almost like leather, or kind of like a you know, like a really tough material in here. So basically, that's these are basically the ingredients that you're going to use for our recipe. So what I'll do in the show notes, I'm going to actually put a recipe for it. So because you do want to have about the same amount. Now the only thing with this is that you're not going to be able to really have a good measurement of what the NPK or the levels of fertilizer are in this particular mix. So it's really tough to tell, but this is something when I just use these as like side dressings, or I put this stuff in containers. I just like to just get it in there somehow. I don't really worry too much about the NPK of it, but it's still, you know, it is still good to have something to follow. So in the show notes, I'm going to put basically what I do. But for each of these ingredients, the only ones you don't have to worry about too much is the coffee grounds. You don't have to grind these up, but these you definitely want to grind up if you want to store this away. So all they just do is take one of those. So basically, you have a powder of eggshells. And this is great for calcium for your garden. So basically, you're just going to grind up all of these, and you're going to get, you know, basically a nice little fine little fertilizer that you can store. You also want to do the same thing with the banana peel. So I just basically mix all these together, and I'll add in the coffee grounds. Just like this right here. So I just mix all of these up together. The other ingredient you can add to, or you can do it separate, is also, I like to add a little magnesium salt, which is it's really good for your garden as well. So that's like that will give it a lot of magnesium, and basically it's in the form of Epsom salt. But that will give a nice blend of magnesium in here as well. But for the most part, this is what I use for my fertilizer. This you can actually store, and this is good for, I mean, at least a year. I mean, this is not gonna take me long to get it into my garden. But this is just a great way to use some of your scraps from your house, and you know, to get it into the garden. Another thing you can also do with this, now this is a dry form, so you can put this right into the soil. But if you really wanted to, you know, you can take a little bit of your coffee, maybe you have leftover coffee, and add some water to it, and then just throw this in there, and then blend it up, and then you can use that as a liquid fertilizer. It'll be, you know, some of this will get a little soluble in there. It'll break down a little bit, and then it'll be more available to the roots. So that's one option you can do with it, and the other option is just to put it in just like this into your garden and get it into the soil. And this is really good. This would be readily available for your garden in there. If you please give us a green thumbs up. Let us know that if you do like this video. Also, please subscribe below, and you know, hit the bell just for notifications, so that, you know, anytime we post a video, you'll get noticed of it. Also, we do have a website called gardenerthumb.com, and what I'll do is in the show notes I'll post an actual link, and that will actually have the recipe. That'll have a link to the recipe in there with a little more details. I'll still put the recipe down in the description, but the post will have a little more detail in there if you wanted to see that. But let us know if you have any other comments, and let us know what you're doing for fertilizer as well. And we'll see you in the next video.